I think the Eagles lose this weekend. Cowboys win. I think Cowboys get to the 2 seed. Niners now have home field advantage. Welcome to Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And, today I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's going to be a venting session. It's up to us to do which one wants to go first, but I'll let the Eagles fan go first since he's had a more successful season than I've seen in my entire lifetime, so go ahead.
The entire season's over. I mean, we just lost to the Saints, who are one of the bottom of the barrel teams.
I told you that game was going to be tough. Not to pull Skip Bayless and interrupt you, but I told you that was going to be a difficult game. I think it would have been a difficult game. Even Jalen Hurts was there.
Monologue? Gosh.
I'm just saying. Well, he's coming I'm trying to talk him off the ledge a little bit because the Saints have a really good defense. Okay, go ahead.
True.
I'm done.
They have a really good defense, but it wasn't. I don't feel like it was the Eagles' offense that disappointed me more. I think the Eagles' defense disappointed me the most. I think to let the Saints offense score 20 points, who don't have Thomas, who don't have their starting quarterbacks, they don't have a quarterback at all, actually. Like, to let them go ahead and score, not to mention they don't have a tight end. Taysom Hill's signed up at their tight end number 1, I think, or no, tight end number 2 now. But to let them score 20 points on you is ridiculous, and I don't think that they should have.
Y'all made him look like prime Cam.
Like, if it was like 7-3, I would have been okay. But, like, to let them score 20, it's just ridiculous.
But this goes back to my point. What have I been telling you? The only reason I don't trust you guys in the playoffs, it's not because it hurts. It's because of that coaching staff. I don't trust Jonathan Gannon.
They have an inconsistent defense, which is what's killed us when we lost to the Commanders, when we lost to the Cowboys, when we almost lost to the Texans and the Colts. The defense almost killed us.
But talent-wise, where should you guys rank? Talent-wise, of all the players on your defense, you guys rank number 1 in talent. There's no team that has more talent collectively on their defense than the Eagles. But somehow they underperform because their coaching staff doesn't know how to use them.
They don't, but that's why I just say they're just inconsistent. I mean, they have amazing games. Like, they started the Dallas game off amazing. They started off with a pick 6. They started off just stomping on Dallas. And then out of nowhere, Dallas comes back, scores, wins. And
then I'm going to say that, I mean, these injuries are getting bad. I mean, you guys were doing good most of the season with injuries, and now it's the injury bug's hitting you at the bad time.
It's the one season that I was very surprised about injuries because that and the 2017, 2018 season when they had Alshon Jeffrey and all that, because I predicted Alshon Jeffrey to go out pretty early in the season because he was never really a consistent player.
In his defense, he did get hurt that season. Remember, he tore his rotator cuff, but he just played through it.
So, I mean, to have it hit this late in the season isn't terrible. I mean, that's probably, like, ideal compared to teams that like the Giants who lost their number 1 defender in the first week preseason, Thibodeau. So, I mean,
and wow, is he doing all? I'm sorry. The best moment of 2023 so far is the Snow Angels on Nick Foles' dead body. No offense, but that was kind of funny.
Too soon.
It was funny.
The Bengals-Bills game on Monday Night Football was very, very, very hard to watch. I mean, that's probably the most surprising thing I've seen on a football field in my entire life.
I think we all stand here. Our prayers are with Damar Hamlin and his family.
100%. And it was very good to wake up this morning and hear that he's making recoveries and making good progress coming back. That's good.
I wasn't even watching the game. I was like doing something else, then I was going to turn it on. Then I looked at my phone and saw that it was like suspended, and I saw everything. So
I turned it on. I didn't even see the hit. I turned it on as they were crowded around him right before the first commercial break.
I knew something was wrong when it went to the second commercial break because injuries usually only take 1. And
they try to get him off the field as quick as they can.
And then you saw the ambulance come onto the field, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And then Joe Buck said they gave him CPR. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was.
And we all got to admit, I mean, we love this sport, but when we watch the sport, we know stuff like this can happen.
But nothing like that.
Nothing. I mean, and to the people who are saying it's T. Higgins' fault, come on, y'all.
It's not. T. Higgins is just as scared as Josh Allen, just as scared as Stephon Diggs, just as scared as everybody that was on that football field.
There was 3 things that angered me. The people that got mad at Skip Bayless' tweet. Come on, y'all. I understood what he was trying to say. He just put it in bad wording. What he was trying to say was, yes, the game's important and it's going to be a pain to make up, but what is most important is Damar Hamlin's health. 2, the T. Higgins stuff. He was making a football play, y'all. Every play, there's a chance that you can get hurt. He was lowering his shoulder to get extra yardage.
He didn't even hit him that hard.
He didn't.
He didn't hit him nearly as hard as, like, remember when Marvin Harrison got rocked in that playout game? It was nowhere near like we've seen much harder football hits.
Yes.
Actually, the hit that ended Ryan Shazier's career was way harder than that.
Yes.
So.
And then the third thing. For the people on Twitter, afterwards, the first thing your mind went to wasn't, oh, is Damar Hamlin okay? What's going to happen with him was, oh, this is because of the vaccine. Look, I might I myself am is against the vaccine sometimes, but you can't go right into that. That's messed up. The kid's right there, because he's only 24, but he's on the ground, lifeless. I mean, he didn't have a pulse for 10 minutes, and you're gonna have the audacity to tweet out, "Oh, it might be because of the vaccine." Come on, y'all, grow up. Jesus.
No, it was like such an odd scenario when they actually explained what happened. Like, what are the chances of you getting hit at the exact moment that can stop your heartbeat?
I mean, there's
Completely.
every play. There's only like a millisecond where that can happen because it hits you right in the. It's like you get chest compressions from a whatchamacallit thing.
Well, you think like people have died playing slow pitch softball
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
for the same thing. Like you just get hit in just the wrong spot.
It's actually more
And they
likely to
can-
happen Little League. They say the most that injury happens is in Little League baseball.
And it's just so ridiculous that it happened on the second day of 2023.
What a horrible start we're off to. We had Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner, and then you had Ken Block, DeMar Hamlin,
Did you see what happened to Jeremy Renner?
Snowmobile accident.
Snowplow ran over him.
Oh, I thought it was a snowmobile. Was
Snowplow.
that somebody else?
They said it was that was
That
Ken
was
Block.
Ken Block.
It said they were both in a snowmobile accident though, but it was Jeremy Renner was run over by a snowplow. But
Is he okay?
yeah,
I
he's
don't know.
he's making a recovery in the hospital.
He's in critical but stable condition.
Yeah,
He just had his third surgery.
yeah.
Anyway, let's digress off of that because there's.
Cheerful news.
I do want to say that I like what Joe Burrow did. He took the captains of the Bengals after the game was canceled, and he went to the Bills locker room and he sat with them and he made sure that they were okay.
Did you see what happened with Sean McDermott?
No.
So when Zach Taylor came over there, Sean McDermott told Zach Taylor, he said, "Hey man, I don't know what you're thinking, but I can't be here. I got to go be with my player in the hospital."
Mm-hmm.
So first off, let me just say, great job by the Bills organization, the Cincinnati Bengals organization, Cincinnati as a city, and the medical staff, because you guys did a tremendous job. And also, I think we need to give ESPN a round of applause. I mean, that's unprecedented.
Oh yeah, that's unprecedented. And they handled it very well. They
Yes.
had people ready, and then they didn't. Obviously, you could tell they didn't know what was happening, what to do. They were all sitting there, just like they were stunned. They were as stunned as everybody at home watching.
And Joe Buck does Monday night now.
Yeah. He was.
He's Joe Buck is the best announcer in sports. I don't know. People like hate on Joe Buck.
I like Joe Buck. Joe Buck's a good
When
announcer.
Joe Buck covered the World Series, it was like he was the voice of October baseball. And now that he's not doing it anymore, I
just
think it's
feels
kind of
empty.
lame.
It
It doesn't
feels
feel
empty.
right. I think he's got.
I think he's got to come back to doing that. But when it comes to favorite, I think I got to go Tony Romo. But Joe Buck and Troy Aikman did a tremendous job over on Monday night. But now I think it's what everybody came here to see. How do I feel about my Washington Commanders? I'm done.
Yeah, he's a free agent fan again.
No, I'm a Commanders fan. I'm staying in Washington. It's over. Carson Wentz. He's not top 32. He's not top 64. He might not even be top. What is it? What's after 64 plus 32? I don't care what it is. The dude sucks. He sucks. I can't. And then my head coach,
Nice.
Ron Rivera, is going to come out after the game, and he's like, "We could have been eliminated today." After the first pick, it was 3 plays. The second pass of the day, Wentz threw a pick. Right there, I said, "Where's Heineke?" Because Heineke should have went in. Because Wentz didn't know what he was doing. He was forcing passes. And Scott Turner, oh my. 4th and inches. What are you doing? You're running a halfback toss with the wide receiver, and you're going to have a running back block Myles Garrett. And you thought it was going to. How do you have a job?
Remember, didn't the Rams do that in the Super Bowl last year? With like they ran an end around on 4th and short, right?
Yeah.
A wide receiver run. That's one of those moves where it looks good if it works,
But it's.
and you're an idiot if it
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
But he keeps repeatedly every week. He comes in, and the best pass rusher, he's like, "Hey, tight end or running back, you block him." Hey, we have an offensive lineman we're paying $15 million a year. He's paid to block them. Let him block him. I don't want to see my halfback or wide receiver or tight end blocking him. They're not going to do it. Myles Garrett is a freak of nature. And then, you know what? Here's another thing. Any team that has ailments or something's not going right, or you want to see something and you want to see it work, just play the Commanders. Deshaun Watson has not looked like Deshaun Watson since he's returned. I couldn't tell on Sunday. I mean, the numbers, you guys will probably look at the numbers. Whoa, that wasn't even a good game. 9 of 18, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns. The eye test, he looked like Watson. And then, Jack Del Rio. Your only job is coming into the game. Don't let them run the ball. I want to see 8 in the box. What are you doing only having 5 people in the box and expecting to tackle Nick Chubb, the best breaking tackle running back in the NFL? So if you guys can't tell, I was frustrated watching that game on Sunday. That was unbelievable. And after they lost that game, I was happy to see the Vikings get killed. I didn't want to come into this weekend with a chance to make the playoffs. We don't deserve it. Thank God Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z are getting ready to buy this team, because after that, I want Ron Rivera gone, and we're going to get our head coach. I don't want to see Dan Snyder fire Ron Rivera because I don't trust him to hire a head coach. It's not going to work. He doesn't know what he's doing. Since Dan Snyder came here in 1999, in 99 we were getting 80,000 fans a game. Since he's been here, the average now is 60,000 people a game. People don't believe in Washington, D.C. Why? Because there's nothing to believe in. We were 7-5 with 5 games remaining. And after we went up 10 points on the New York Giants, our season came to a halt. We didn't know how to score. We couldn't do a stop. And it's the same story as last year. In the last 2 years, the Washington Commanders have won 0 games after November 30th. And the overlying story is, as much as I want to say Carson Wentz is all your fault, we got out-coached in every single game. You can't expect to win games when you're getting out-coached. And the frustrating thing is, they're not even game planning to stop the stuff we all know they're going to do. What are you doing going to San Francisco and expecting them to be pass happy? Unbelievable. I'm at a loss of words. I mean, it was that frustrating. I didn't watch the press conferences after the thing. I didn't want to hear from him. Carson Wentz, you're a great man. I love you to death. But get out of Washington, D.C. Better retire. Retire.
Listen, that's a great way to end, what?
7 years.
7 years of saying he's the best player ever.
I didn't say best player ever. I just said he was a good player.
Listen, actions speak louder than words. And I've been telling you since the beginning of the season, Taylor Heineke. Actually, I've been telling you since the Commanders beat the Eagles. Taylor Heineke is better than Carson Wentz. Taylor Heineke should be the starter.
Sam Howell should be the starter.
We'll see what he does this week. But as of right now, I think Taylor Heineke should have been the starter all season.
I don't want Heineke here next year. I don't want Wentz here next year.
I'm not sure why you ever had your hopes up for the Washington Redskins.
We have the best skill positions in the division. Our 1 through 3. No, I don't care what you say.
At which positions?
Receiver.
Better than the
McLaurin,
Eagles?
Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson would be the number 2 on any of those teams, except
the
maybe
Eagles.
the Eagles.
Not.
He don't. But we have 3. Who's the third guy on the Eagles? Quez
Doesn't matter.
Watkins.
The top 2 are a lot better than the top
Oh,
2.
Terry
The top
McLaurin.
two- the top two both have 1,000.
Excuse me. Terry McLaurin is better than AJ
The top
Brown.
two both have
No,
1,000.
he's not better than A.J. Brown or...
Well, wait. AJ Brown has had a better quarterback. Name one good quarterback Terry McLaurin's had in his entire life.
We've been saying, like, all the way up until this year how bad Jalen Hurts was. And A.J. Brown had played previously with Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill's better than anything that Terry McLaurin's had. Name one good receiver Terry McLaurin's had. Who's the best quarterback?
One good receiver.
I mean, one good quarterback McLaurin's had. Name one good quarterback. He's had.
Carson Wentz.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't think of a quarterback for the Washington Redskins other than RG3.
I can name you
Alex
every
Smith.
quarterback.
Alex Smith.
Here's every quarterback that Terry McLaurin has had since he's been in Washington, D.C. Case Keenum, Dwayne Haskins, Garrett Gilbert, Alex Smith in 2020. We should have drafted
I wouldn't
Daniel
go with
Jones.
suck. I think. Listen,
Actually, hey, Daniel Jones, if you're a free agent, we'll take you, buddy. Come to Washington.
he's not leaving the Giants.
Please.
Daniel Jones is not leaving the Giants, and that's 100%. I can guarantee you that.
But off the, you know what, Caleb? Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Not really. As a Rams fan,
he
my
stopped paying
season...
attention to football. Remember?
Yeah, I said that last week. Our season was over a long time ago, so whatever. I was just watching football.
I think what we could do, though, I think we could be able to take this week, because we only have 1 week left in the regular season in the playoffs. I think we could take this week and we could go ahead and make predictions for what we think the playoffs is going to be so far.
Oh, I can already tell you who's going to be in the Super Bowl. It's going to be Niners versus Chiefs.
Niners and Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm saying it.
I'm not a firm believer in anybody in the NFC. I think if the Packers get in, they could easily beat anyone in there because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the division or in the conference by a wide margin.
Bold take. I think the Eagles lose this weekend. Cowboys win. I think Cowboys get to the 2 seed. Niners now have home field advantage. I think the Eagles end up
play the
losing.
Giants.
I think the Niners. I know the Eagles will lose to the Giants.
You think?
I don't trust Jalen
You
Hurts.
think the Eagles lose to the Giants?
I do. The Giants are a much healthier team now.
I mean, I think that could be another ugly game. Well, a lot of these teams that are here are like built similarly. They want to run the ball, and they want to play good defense.
I mean, that's what's beating defenses right now.
And here's the other thing: if the Eagles, I tried telling everybody, and you guys were with me. You don't bet against Tom Brady.
No, you don't bet.
Tom Brady in that fourth quarter, wow.
Who are they playing?
The Panthers, they've had a great defense.
With no J.C. Horn.
JC, yeah, there was no Horn. C.J. Henderson sucks. I've never seen a top 10 pick at corner get traded the next year and then be probably out of the league the following.
I think this year might be one of the best chances that the Packers have to move on past like their first round of playing. Because last year they had to bye and then they lost the first round they played. I think this year is the year that they have. Because one, they don't have the bye. Two, they're not playing in Green Bay in the winter. But three, they have a solid defense that's very much surprised me in the last few weeks.
Do you know who,
And they're also not expected to win.
That's
which
very
I think
true.
is big
so
too.
if the Eagles win on Sunday, right? You know who the Packers play?
They're going to play the Eagles.
They play the Niners.
Oh,
round
the
one.
Niners?
Oh, I could see him being the Niners.
I think they could beat the Niners. Because I'm saying, like, the Packers' defense is, like, within the past few weeks, because the Packers obviously started off rough. But the last few weeks, the Packers' defense has surprised me. I mean, they've been
So
close to number
what
one
is the
in interception.
Packers' strength? What is the Packers' best thing on offense?
Best thing on offense? Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers in the running game.
The run game. Who's the best run defense in the league?
Yeah,
And it's not even close?
It's the 49ers, but you also have to realize that you got Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, though.
Aaron Rodgers does have
Most teams that you're able to stop the run don't have Aaron Rodgers
Aaron
throwing the
Rodgers
ball.
also has targets that, obviously I say that, but you're going to look at me like you're crazy
Oh,
because
no,
of
no,
the
no.
season.
Christian Watson.
They have Christian Watson. He has
Romeo
Alan
Dobbs.
Lazard. He has Dobbs. Like, he has people. He also, I think he still has Randall Cobb on there, too.
Yeah. And then he has Tunyon.
Yeah, he has receivers that he can throw to, but he's been, I mean, not going to say he's been keeping them secret, but he definitely hasn't used them.
Well,
to
have you
their
realized?
strengths.
So the Packers have gotten on this hot streak. Why? They ran
Watson.
they started getting into the run game, but the number one reason isn't because of Watson. Remember how Rodgers broke his thumb, had that thumb injury? His thumb's gotten healthy, and now his ball's gotten more accurate, and now they're starting to hit their stride more and more on offense.
We'll see.
But they're still not beating San Fran, which is why I see the Eagles losing. The Cowboys beat the Commanders. Hopefully, it's going to be a blowout. I don't want to win that game. Then Eagles play Tampa round one. Dallas would then play Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers beating the Packers. Aaron Rodgers beating the Cowboys. Let me get my English right. I think the Giants beat the Vikings, and I think Tampa beats Eagles.
I think the Eagles have a really good chance of beating Tampa this year because last year they lost to him first round. But I think this is a solid year. I mean, they have 4 people on their defense with 10+ sacks. I mean, that the Tampa offensive line isn't terrible, but it's also not the best that the Eagles defense has ever faced.
But you got to get the Brady.
And they designated Robert Quinn for return as well.
Ooh, scary. He sucks.
He's as good of a defensive end as anybody on the Commanders, and you thought that their defense was going to carry them to the playoffs.
Excuse me? Chase Young and Montez Sweat is better than
How
Robert
many
Quinn's
games
ever
has Chase Young played this season?
been. In 2 games, he's done more for the Commanders than Robert Quinn done all year. Riley, you're an Eagles fan. How's Robert Quinn been for you?
He hasn't played. He's been hurt.
He was traded there. He
I
played
bet you
2
this.
games.
When they both retire, Robert Quinn will have more career sacks than Chase Young.
Does Chase Young stay healthy?
I don't know. That's part of the program.
Does either of them stay
That's a
healthy?
big part of it.
Well, Robert Quinn's prime. I'll give you that. Robert Quinn's prime was a
He's
good
had a
passer.
great career.
But
Even just last year, he was a really good pass rusher. I
he
think
doesn't.
gonna
But
be
he's
fine.
a great 3-4 pass rusher in a 3-4 system.
He was really good 4-3 as well.
No, he's not.
When he was on the Rams, he had like 18 sacks one year
Y'all
in
were
the 4-3.
3-4 under Wade Phillip.
They were 4-3 with Chris Long on one side
Oh, you're talking
and
about
Robert Quinn on the other side.
That was good.
And that was like Quinn's best
That was
year.
what, Jeff Fisher?
Oh, yeah. That's some 7-9. 7-9 BS.
I wish you guys won last week.
I really want that shirt, but it's just too inappropriate to wear anywhere. But like,
So the Eagles and the Niners start on the opposite ends of the playoffs as of right now, right?
Yeah, the Niners are the 2 seed and the Eagles are the 1 seed.
I think we could very easily see the Eagles-Niners playing each other in the conference finals, and that'll be the best game of the season for either team.
Yeah.
The West, I mean, the AFC, it's either going to be the Chiefs or it's going to be the Bengals again. Who knows? But who knows after last night that team can be completely shaken up and completely fall off in the
That's
first
what I'm
round.
saying. Like, you don't know how these teams are going to respond.
Exactly.
I've got to see that first.
Yeah,
So
that's-
before Monday night, I was going to say that the Bengals would make Super Bowl. But after seeing that, there's no way you can expect
At
that.
least T. Higgins. At least T. Higgins is going to be shaken up, at least for a couple weeks. I mean, he's getting death threats, and people are blaming him for it. But, I mean, like, I think as of right now, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be between the Eagles or the Niners. I mean, that's the obvious one. But I also do feel like the Bengals have a chance.
Now here's the
at
question:
contending.
if the Niners win the Super Bowl, what do the Niners do with Trey Lance?
Because you can't go back to Trey Lance. You just had a guy on a rookie contract win the Super Bowl.
They also have a guy on a rookie contract to win the Super Bowl. They hated on Jimmy Garoppolo all offseason, telling him that he's not going to start and they're going to get rid of him, and then he stayed. Trey Lance broke his collarbone 3 weeks in.
Broke the foot. He broke the foot.
Broke his foot. Who broke her collarbone?
Nobody broke the
I thought somebody did. But anyway, he broke his foot 3 weeks in, and then who knows what he's going to come back from that? Because you see Derrick Henry coming off a broken foot. He doesn't look the same at all.
He's had his games this year, but
He's
it's
had a
also
pretty good season.
in Derrick Henry's defense though. He used to have A.J. Brown on the outside, so he couldn't always just solidify right in
That's
on Derrick
true.
Henry.
That is true.
I mean, this year there's not. I mean, and Robert Woods. He's
This year
missing.
they don't have AJ Brown and they don't have Julio Jones to line up with him. So there's no other people.
In his defense, he never had Julio Jones.
Robert Woods is definitely more of a 2 or 3 than a
Yeah, then a one.
real number 1.
But I mean, who knows? We'll see what Trey Lance does. I mean, the Niners. I feel like they could make it, but the Niners also have a very good tendency at choking.
But here's the thing, though. When you
Yeah, they
watch
do have
Brock Purdy,
Shanahan that
because everybody wants to
coach.
say Brock Purdy's a rookie and he's a 7th-round pick. He doesn't. When he's going to be pressured, he's not going to know what to do. Did you guys watch that Raiders game? I mean, Jarrett Stidham. Wow. 1, 2. It was weird at the end of that game when Purdy had the ball late in the game with like a minute left in the game. I was like, I'm going to go down and win this game. Now he got him a position, and Robbie Gould decided to shank the thing almost as bad as that Ohio State kicker. Happy New Year, Ohio State.
How about this? This has always never made sense to me. Why are the hash marks wider in college than the pros? Because it makes it so the kickers have to kick more accurate.
Yeah.
Than,
Well, the
pros.
goalposts are also bigger in college.
but still, the ratio is way
in
off.
that case, like in basketball, it's like the 3-point line backs up. That's it. Like for football, why not make the hash marks the same and just make the goalpost?
I don't know what that ratio is, but that ratio is way different.
Actually, let's figure this out. No, it helps the defenses. Don't know how that helps.
Well, it's anticlimactic when a game ends with a kick anyway.
True.
That's why.
Also, I think I got to admit I was wrong on Kenny Pickett. I don't know if you guys watched Sunday night. I said he had no arm talent. Some of those throws he was making. If Pat Mahomes made the throw that Kenny Pickett made at the end of that game to win the game to Najee Harris, that thing would have been all over the Instagram.
Let's also be fair. Jason Pierre-Paul was the one who was there pressuring him, and Jason Pierre-Paul's hand
Conspiracy
is
theory.
very mangled.
The NFL signed him for that reason.
Listen.
I mean, he had him. If he just
he
had
has
2
a
extra
pinky.
fingers,
He's a pinky and a thumb. That is it. And he grabbed him like this, so of course he can't tackle him. I mean, no. You know who surprised me is George Pickens. George Pickens.
he ain't shocking me because
Listen, his spectacular, his catch and traffic ratio is the second highest, right behind AJ Brown.
some of the catches he makes, I'm just like, wow.
The thing with
exactly.
him was always just, is he healthy?
Stay healthy, yeah.
Because if he hadn't got hurt in college, he would have been
first
the
round
number
pick.
1
Yeah.
receiver
yeah.
taken.
Which he's seen the injury issues.
And the
this
Steelers
season.
just
Also,
always come up with good
again,
receivers.
right there. How do the Steelers always get good receivers? It's like the Packers always draft a good quarterback, and the Steelers always get a good receiver.
They get good receivers, but those receivers don't do much after a couple of years. The only one who I could say did really good for a while, Antonio
Ward.
Brown. Or Hines Ward too.
Antonio Brown was only good. If you really think about it, I went back and was thinking about it. I was like, wow, Brown was only good for 4 years.
But they drafted Juju. They drafted Juju. Juju left in 3 years, and now he's on the Chiefs.
He's doing pretty good for
He's
the
doing
Chiefs.
but he also got struck with injuries. So, and then
He got rocked.
You had Chase Claypool, who
Sucks
was
to-
good under Juju, but then after that,
Poor guy. Since he's been to the Bears, are 0-8 or 0-9.
I'm blaming him.
It's a curse.
I'll blame him for it. Because once he left Pittsburgh started shining. Conspiracy theory number 2.
And also,
Quarterback.
there's 3 things in life guaranteed: death, taxes, and Mike Tomlin's going to at least get to 500. I mean, they were 2-7. We were all like, "There's no way they're finishing above 500."
Yeah, what is it? He's
Never had a season.
had a season that's under 500.
And you got to look at these seasons, and he's had a season where Ben got hurt week 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then he had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. And there's Steeler fans saying we need to get Mike Tomlin fired.
No, if I was a Steelers fan, I would stick with Mike Tomlin until he's ready to retire because he is arguably one of the best coaches in the
I
NFL
would
history.
take Mike Tomlin as a Commanders coach. I'd take him tomorrow.
Well, that's because you got Rivera, who is a Panthers coach.
Hey, you know who else I'd take right now?
He's got one Super Bowl, right?
Who?
Tomlin,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he's been to 2.
And he's been a coach for like 16 years.
What's since 08? So what's that? That's what, 14?
14, so close.
Yeah.
Long
The
time.
only reason I say that is because there's no other coach who's never had an under like that's coached for 14 seasons.
In his
He's never
defense,
had.
though, the only season where he had a playoff loss, where I was like, really, Tomlin, you lost to them, was 2017 when they lost to Blake Bortles.
Oh yeah.
You lost to Blake Bortles?
Well, it's kind of like, would you rather have Aaron Boone or Bruce Bochy?
Bruce Bochy.
Bruce Bochy won 3 championships. He also had 3 last place teams. Aaron Boone's teams have been first or second every year for all that time.
But the difference between Boone and Tomlin, Boone's teams have always had talent. Tomlin
So
has had
Tomlin.
teams. Oh, 2019.
The entire time he had Big Ben, whenever Ben was healthy, he had a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but 2019, Ben got hurt week 1.
For
That
a
right
long
there.
time, he had a top 10 O line. Not anymore, but
No more. They need to get, now the thing that Tomlin needs to do, he needs to fire that offense coordinator. Matt Canada might be the second worst OC in football.
Yeah.
Sorry, the worst is Scott Turner.
he's got very limited people that he's working with. Limited talent.
Those are some receivers, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Hey, here's the crazy thing.
I'm talking about Pickett.
Oh, and
Limited.
then here's the other thing. The Saints. I know they did good. What is the offensive coordinator there thinking? So we can all agree, Alvin Kamara after the catch is one of the best running backs we've ever seen, right? Do you know all year they've only ran 4 screens?
I don't know why because they've had one because Michael Thomas came back didn't look the same. He had a really good game. I think he had one really good game and then he got hurt again or he had to get surgery again. So like I don't know why they don't run the screen pass because Kamara is like their only target.
They
Also,
want Kamara to play the full season.
Oh, and then the other thing
they
is-
can't ride him that hard. And
The
have
thing
him
that they-
stay.
Like McCaffrey when he was on the what was it Panthers? I don't even remember what team.
and then the Eagles ticked me off. Nick Sirianni came from a West Coast system, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do you guys barely call screen passes? Like, that is a real question. Like, how does you guys have Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell? Run some screens.
Yeah. I mean, they run the RPOs out of everything. They just go crazy with RPOs. So I
And the
don't know.
last thing I'll say, everybody wants to say the Giants should rest their starters. I'm not so sure I want Jalen Hurts coming back this week. The Giants blitz more than any team, and they have a very high pressure rate. And Kayvon Thibodeau is known for snow angeling over dead Eagle quarterbacks.
But that's also good for the Eagles. I mean, you don't want your quarterback getting blitzed and sacked, but if you're gonna go a team that blitzes the most in the league, you want your mobile quarterback to be in there.
All I'm going to say is I better not see one QB draw. If I see a quarterback draw and he's lowering his shoulder, he's going to get that collarbone broke.
I mean, would you rather have like Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson on your like the best blitzers in the league or the most blitzers in the league? Would you have like Mike White when he gets blown up and
Give me Tom Brady.
I mean, like still he's not. I mean, he's gonna throw the ball before he gets hit, but
Then we'll wrap it up. Scramblers only are good versus the blitz when they really don't know the system. But when you have a guy that knows the system, a la a Joe Burrow or Tom Brady or a good pocket passer, if they know where to get the ball out quick and they know in the coverage who's going to get open, they can say hike and throw it right away.
let's be honest. You say you don't want Jalen Hurts back, but Jalen Hurts played the Giants the first time they played, and if I do remember, they were the second team that the Eagles put their backups in against because
Yes,
they were
but the
beating them
Giants
so
also were
bad.
missing 8 starters.
Fair, but I think with the O line, they have the best O line in the league. I think, or second best, something like that.
Who?
The Eagles. It's like top 5.
They did
somehow.
with Lane Johnson, but here's what I'm most trying to say. Everybody wants to act when Lane Johnson comes back that he's going to be Lane Johnson. An abdominal tear for an offensive lineman is a big deal.
Landon Johnson's always been injury prone, though. He's always
But it's always been his feet.
He's always had ankles, feet, knees, like anything in there, and those are just as important as an
Like,
athlete.
I'm actually going to make a prediction. When Jason Kelsey finally retires, I think Lane Johnson also is going to retire at that same time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if I'm going to be honest with you, I think the entirety of that offensive line will go within 3 years of each other. So I think once Jason Kelsey retires, Lane Johnson will go because they're about the same age.
You at least got Jordan Mailata for the
Yeah, Malata, which
for
he's
about-
he's improved very like a lot since.
I remember 2020 was when he finally got in, and I was always afraid because Jason Peters sucked that year. I mean, I remember they moved
Jason
him.
Peters sucked because he's so old. I mean,
Well, no, he built his body to be the right guard, and then they moved him to left tackle. They're like, here, do that, and I was like, you can't build your body up that much.
even then he was old. Like he should have retired years before he did.
And then you had Mailata came in, and wow, I remember I was like, ooh.
Ooh, okay. And that's where I should have went off the wind strain, but
We won't discuss that. But
anyway, drop down your takeaways in the comment section. We'd love to hear from y'all. Please like, please subscribe. Until next time.
To be continued.